Hollywood. From Hollywood. Welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
Now, you ready for the last day of Passover, my Jewish fiends? I mean, I know it's not like coming off Rumspringa, but you know what? Take it from somebody who's been passed over a lot. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, like a matzo ball fight at nightfall to celebrate. From the Mojo studio on Sunset and Vine, overlooking the sea of crazies. Who's open to the idea of going on another action-packed adventure? Let's see them hands.
Let's do it.
Here's what's on tap on the wrap. I think we need a 28th Amendment to the Constitution. I'll tell you why. We have now been to the dark side of the moon, sort of. Is Facebook a cesspool of information or not? We'll explore. The drive to turn men more feminine is still alive, and today it's another edition of Praise Be to Whitey. Another round of pet trauma is on the way. The burning question is coming up, plus our usual lunacy and loose behavior, including the angry American and weird, wacky, and ridiculous people. That's what's happening today on the Rat's Ass Podcast for Thursday, April 9th. Thanks for being here and nowhere else. Yeah, I had to take out a loan to drive down to Hollywood today. Had to get out of the Mojo Dojo. Sometimes you just need to get away. Even if gas is still over $6 a gallon for the 87 octane. Thank God for American muscle cars, though, because they can survive on the 87. These folks pumping 89.91. Oh, they sweat profusely as that meter keeps running. My producer, Fleabag, though, he did accompany me today, carpooled with me, and all he did was give me crap the whole way because of my choice of music. I mean, it's driver's choice, first of all. Isn't it that way in your family? Driver picks the music? Well, here, let me just give you a taste, and you can decide if you're on Team Fleabag or Team Mojo. I like no vocals when I'm coming in, so I listen to acid jazz. This is down to the bone. Great acid jazz band. Oh, isn't that fun, man? God, how can you not get into that, Fleabag? All the way. Put on some rock and roll. Put on some rock and roll. Nag, 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 nag. That's all I heard all the way in about my choice of music. But man, it's good stuff. Yeah, I started listening to smooth jazz way back in like 98 when I was programming it. The most fun I had programming a radio station was that type of music, the smooth jazz. Smooth jazz. Yeah, we had this guy that sounded real smoky who imaged the radio station. He'd come in and go, smooth jazz. Oh, so good. I mean, you listen to this radio station, it felt like you were in a club in Chicago in the basement, smoke-filled, with the lights and everything, saxophones playing, the trumpets, the groove, the beat, the bass line. I don't get it, Fleabag. All the way. Play some rock and roll. Nag, nag, nag. That's all I heard. Play some rock and roll. I like the demon to screaming like everybody else, but not at 5:30 in the morning. That's my thanking music, man. I can't have the vocals. By the way, Fleabag did chip in $5 for gas, too. Yeah, $5. I'm like, did we just travel back to 1977? Seriously, though, Fleabag, I appreciate the gesture because, I pay him next to nothing, and I do get what I pay for. There it is. The finger of Fleabag. That wasn't a double barrel? Oh, there it is. Yes, the double barrel finger from Fleabag. That's when I know we're on the same page. I could fire him at any time. But it just feels like when I can get him to the point where he just wants to flip me off, I just appreciate it. I'm a little strange that way. All right, let's get into the rap today. All right, as you know, the Democrats have come up with something new every week to piss and moan about Donald Trump. This week, they were calling for Congress to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump from office, and they accused him of being a war criminal. Then Trump backs off his planned attack on Iran with a 2-week ceasefire, and they had to shut their weenie asses up. But no, they did have a fallback plan. We'll call him a taco. Trump always chickens out. They've always got something. But if you want to talk about rat shit crazy, it's these damn Democrats with their Trump derangement syndrome. And that's why I think we need a 28th Amendment to remove them from office. I mean, if they have a 25th for the president, shouldn't there be a 28th to get rid of them? And it shouldn't just be Democrats. To be fair, it should be everybody. Should be everybody. But we can start, though, with Ilhan Omar. The ragtop-wearing Somali who thinks America sucks more than Somalia, but yet she refuses to leave America. That's crazy. You can add Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, also known as AOC, Ro Khanna, Adam Schiff, Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, Cory Booker, the endless scroll of names. I don't think I need to go on. I think you get the gist of my concern here. We need a 28th Amendment, damn it. We have to be able to remove any rat shit crazy politician, regardless of party. Now, this bears repeating. Democrats have no ideas. They offer no solutions. All they have is hate Trump. You hate Trump. I hate Trump. We all hate Trump. So put us back into power. They think you're stupid enough to do it, too. Yeah. You know, the lying, TDS suffering, tax and spend, open border, illegal loving, no voter ID, far left, radical, fraud committing, screw you up the ass Democrats. That's what we need. That's just what we need. I mean, have you forgot about the ass screwing we got from the Biden years? Come on. I think you're smarter than that. How about Artemis 2? How about a standing ovation for those guys? Man, you know what? Typically, I am not an outer space guy. I haven't even seen Star Wars, for crying out loud. That has nothing to do with it. But I did get wrapped up in Artemis, going to the dark side of the moon. You know, you listen to Pink Floyd all these years, you think, wow, the dark side of the moon, that's got to be a pretty cool place. But here's the thing. They call it the far side of the moon, though, by the way. Photos were phenomenal, too, by the way. You can check them out on ratsasspodcasts.com on the Facebook page if you missed them. The reason why I said, though, we went to the dark side of the moon, sort of, is because they flew right by without landing. Okay, why go all that way if you're not going to land and kind of get some sand on your feet, for crying out loud? I mean, I'm sure the flag on the light side of the moon is ready to be replaced after 50-some years. Do you think it's just hanging there on the pole, you know, looking like brand new? They could have done something like that. I just think, you know, I think we just missed an opportunity there. But the good news, all is good. They made it around the moon. They're on their way back, and they will land on planet Earth Friday off the coast of San Diego, California, in the Pacific Ocean, which, by the way, thanks to slumlord Gavin Newsom and his policies, that's where all the waste from Mexico floats into the Pacific Ocean down around San Diego. So nice job, NASA. These guys go out for 10 days in outer space and come back and they land in crap. All right, one of our previous podcasts, I had mentioned that we gained a little over 1,000 followers in March. So I've been paying a little closer attention to the content that shows up on our news feed on Facebook. And my God, it's all fake news. So many made-up stories designed just to get you to click and read. I mean, the headlines, some of them are good. Some of them catch your attention. You think, like, gee, let me read that. But that's all it's about. And people think this stuff is the gospel, for crying out loud. This is where they get their news. You poll a lot of people and they'll tell you, where do you get your news? Oh, Facebook. Oh, my God. It's no wonder we're going to hell in a handbasket. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Politics, pop culture, even sports. One said the other day after the Lakers won their 50th game, Lakers fired J.J. Redick. Really? Why would you read that? 95% of what I found on Facebook is trash. So I've started blocking everything that's not legit. I mean, if it's not a national network or a publication that I'm aware of, that I've read over the years, and yes, I do read everything. I do get the Washington Post. I do follow the New York Times, the LA Times. Follow it all. I want to know what's going on. Yes, I follow CNN, MSNBC. I follow it all because I want a rounded perspective of everything. But there are people who only read what's on Facebook, and it is so fake. Fake. I'm sitting there, block, double block on some things. They really couldn't change the name from Facebook to Fakebook, man. But here's my promise to you. When you read our Facebook page, I will never post anything fake outside of something that's intended to be a joke, okay? Now, compared to X, where I mainly get my news, Facebook really is a cesspool of information. All right, are you familiar with the men's product line Particle? They also have a cologne called Gravity for men. This is the one where they have the bimbos sniffing men blindfolded, and one says, a gentleman saves himself for marriage. Yeah, that one. I saw an ad the other day where now they have hand cream. Yeah, hand cream for men. They've got the face cream to fade the wrinkles and the age spots, hair dye to cover the grays, and now they want you to smooth out your hands like a lady. Get those lady smooth hands. Get your Particle hand cream. I swear to Jesus H, man, this company's products has to be about the pussification of men. Really. I mean, ladies, I got to know this. I need your help on this one. Do you want a guy who's too pretty to be a man, or do you want a guy with rugged features? You know, the guy who tweaks your twizzer with rough, manly hands that makes you sing like a bird? So I want you to send me an email, and we'll talk about it here on the Rat's Ass podcast. Get away from some of the politics. Let's talk about men and women. Yeah. ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. Think of the G-spot, gmail.com. And tell me what kind of man you like best, a pussyfied man or a manly man. Okay? ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. All right, the non-whites of America like to claim white people didn't do shit. So I've made it my business to offer up 3 things white people created on every episode until we have exhausted them all. And the feature we call, it's
Praise be to Whitey.
There we go. We got a new fun toy there we can play with, right?
Praise be to Whitey.
Have you been writing them down, though? Okay, we did 7 on the last podcast called Dirty Little Secrets. So you can go back and listen to that if you want to catch up. But number 8 is the ability to record and edit or produce music. I mean, what would you twerk to if it wasn't for Whitey? Number 9, the motion picture. That's right. Pretty big industry, wouldn't you say? Employs a lot of people, makes a lot of freaking money. Yeah, without Whitey, there are no movies. Whitey did that for you. I didn't hear a thank you. Number 10, the camera. I wasn't expecting one either. The camera, which also means Whitey invented the porno. Yeah, what do you think about that? So I want you to repeat after me, damn it. Where would you be if it wasn't for Whitey? And don't you forget it. All right, let's find out what's making the angry American see red polka dots today. This is Tim Kramer.
Sometimes people just need a reminder. Here you go.
We don't say that Islam is here to live, to coexist with lots of different religions and all of us can just hold hands and be friends. This religion has been sent to dominate, to wipe out, to take out every other religion, to have the people leave every religion and to accept Islam. And if that requires fighting to achieve it, then it requires fighting to achieve it. Because the greatest purpose for which jihad was legislated is to make the word of Allah the highest and the word of those who disbelieve the lowest, even if the disbelievers hate it. But we're not shy to say it, and we don't find that to be something that we should be shy to say.
Wow, that was enlightening, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. That's all.
Holy shit!
This blabbermouth once shoved 25 Twinkies in his mouth and lived to tell about it. Here's Mojo Elliott with his spin on sports on the Rat.
Oh, God, I can't say anything in front of her. All right, the countdown to the NFL draft is on. Have you circled April 23rd on your calendar? That's when it all gets underway. Now, my Las Vegas Raiders have the number 1 pick and are expected to take Heisman Trophy winner and national champion Fernando Mendoza from the University of Indiana. There are some douchebombs out there saying the Raiders should trade that first pick because the last quarterback to win a Super Bowl taken number 1 was Peyton Manning back in 1999. They honestly believe somebody like Kirk Cousins is going to be the long-term solution. Trade for somebody else. Trade down. Get a different quarterback. Now, I don't think they pay attention to a lot of things. I think they just read things or they make things up. Because Clint Kubiak, if they're paying attention, the Raiders' new head coach has already stated that he thinks rookie quarterbacks benefit by sitting for a year behind a veteran and observing what they do. Why Kirk Cousins? I mean, he's 37 years old, but he had his best year being coached by Kubiak in Minnesota a few years ago. Cousins knows the system from day one. That's why he's bringing him in. Now, if Mendoza beats Cousins out legitimately, that's another story. But trading the number 1 pick to move down to take a different quarterback could happen, but I doubt it. The Raiders also spent a Brinks truck load of money to get free agents to come in to shore up their defensive and offensive line. They look good, man. They spent their money well. But I'm still going to reserve judgment on the Raiders until after the season. They get all ramped up, and then they have a shitty season like they had last year. But I did come up with 5 rules for every Raider player this year that must be followed to the letter. I called them the Raiders Ruggs rules. They're named after Henry Ruggs, the number 1 draft pick for the Raiders back, 2021, 2020? He's the wide receiver who killed a young girl and her dog when he hit them driving 156 miles an hour behind, drunk as a skunk. Yeah, he's currently doing 3 to 10 in the pen. He's expected to get out this August. He might get another chance in the NFL. But here are the rules. Number 1, no gambling. No gambling. Stay the hell out of the casinos. Number 2, drugs or alcohol. Why is it there's always somebody who thinks it'll never happen to me? Stay off the drugs and alcohol. unless it's for pain. No womanizing. They just want your money. They'll mess with your head. And number 4, no speeding. No more than 5 miles an hour of the posted speed limit. Okay? And number 5, and this one is the most important one, at least in my opinion.
No spitting, pissing, farting, or picking your ass.
And that's my spin on sports on the Rat.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, today I'm going to fire up the burning question for you. 63% of women say they would rather blank than date a bald man with a beard. 63% of women say they would rather blank than date a bald man with a beard. All right, roll that around in your noggin a little bit, and we'll have the answer for you coming up on the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Oh, yeah, here we go with some weird, wacky, and ridiculous people. All right, Robbie Krall from Florida, it's always Florida, was sitting impatiently in the dentist chair, waiting for the DDS to come in and rip out his abscessed tooth, when he noticed a needle loaded with Novocaine and a Luxator on the dentist tray. Robbie decided to numb the tooth himself and successfully extracted the tooth. He jammed some gauze in his mouth and just kind of snuck out the back door. 2 weeks later, he got a bill from the dentist for the price of the Novocaine, the gauze, and a tiny plastic bag with his extracted tooth, a little souvenir. The dentist also included a fake DDS diploma with his name on it. Pretty cool, huh? And believe it or not, the dentist's name? Hermie Elfman.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, you like a good cat fight, don't you? We've got another one brewing in Hollywood between Sydney Sweeney and Zendaya. The story goes the two were very cold towards each other at the season 3 premiere of Euphoria. But you know what that tells me, right? Yeah, they're scissoring.
That's just about enough of that.
Who wants to hear about Cardi B and Stefan Diggs getting back together? No one? I didn't think so. Comedian Nikki Glacier. She knows how to shock people, and she's done it again by admitting that she gets turned on when her boyfriend Chris Convey sleeps with other women. Now, this isn't a real relationship, my fiends, and here's how I know. These two bang around with other people, and then when they hit a dry spell, they hook up with each other. Prove me wrong on that one. All right, in her book, I Choose Me, kind of a shortened title for it, but it's basically called I Choose Me, by former Beverly Hills 90210 star Jenny Garth. She didn't admit in the book that she was porking co-star Luke Perry at the time, but she said he was her first love, and they shared a very special friendship off screen. Reading between the lines, you know what? I'd say they tried out for Dancing with the Stars doing that old horizontal mambo, don't you? Sometimes, no, you can't come out and say it. You just hint around and people get the idea. I interviewed her one time. Very nice lady. Had a nice little tush. But yeah, she'd put out an exercise video, and she came on the air and did a nice interview with us. So, but Jenny, think you did the horizontal mambo, babe. With Luke Perry. And he's not around to say that they didn't, right? And the big news of the day is Sean Puffy Combs could be released from prison soon, maybe today. His lawyers have prepared an argument to speak to the judge. Said Combs' freak-off parties were not a violation of any laws and were protected by the First Amendment. See, here we go with the amendments again. We got an amendment to protect P. Diddy. We can't have a 28th Amendment to get rid of the crazy-ass Democrats, right? But they're going to say that his freak-off parties were nothing more than amateur porn parties. Amateur porn parties. That's what they think is going to get him off spending a little bit more time in prison. We'll see. But I am sorry here, folks. I mean, Combs had over 700 dildos in his closet, okay? Anybody with over 500 should be considered a professional, don't you think? And that's a Salisi slice of celebrity cheese for you.
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, you can send me your questions, comments, and observations to my producer, Fleabag, at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. And anything goes. The more outrageous and salacious, the better, and it is impossible to offend me. All right, this one comes from Daryl D. in Wheeling, West Virginia. Oh, Wheeling. Yes. You know, there used to be a little truck stop there where you could, go fill your tummy, fill your tank, and then go get you a skank for about $20. It's called the Wheelin' Feelin'. Daryl, does that still exist? Let me know. Anyway, he says, a couple of weeks ago, you gave Trump a B- on Operation Epic Fury. Now with the ceasefire, what's your grade? At this point, I got to be honest, guys. He's downgraded to a C in my book. I mean, the job isn't finished. And I'll be shocked as hell if this ceasefire holds. Okay, you can't trust these Iranian leaders. Okay, finish up this regime, get rid of them, secure the oil and the Strait of Hormuz, and move on. Okay, get to the next stage. Anything less to me is unacceptable. Karen B., Durant, Oklahoma. Are you following this story about the disappearance of Lynette Hooker? Yeah, I'm aware of it, Karen, but this brings me way back to memories of the Scott Peterson case back in the early 2Ks. And for 3 years, my morning show, which had two ladies as my partners on the radio at the time, got so wrapped up in every damn detail. It's all we talked about. Every day there was something about this story that popped up. And then you take that with the nonstop discussions about Paris Hilton and Britney Spears at the time, and those two female partners of mine drove me nuts. That's why I left being on the radio, to be honest with you. Okay, I'm just focused on programming only. I'd had enough. So I'm going to avoid discussing this until we have more information. I mean, I can see where this is going to turn into another Nancy Guthrie soap opera, too, by the way. Maddie Z., Duluth, Minnesota. Are you ever going to start giving away stuff on Rat Nation? I'll sign up when you do. Hey, Maddie, it's already being done. Hey, by the way, how's the fraud in Minnesota? I bet our fraud here in California is bigger than yours. But back to your question, we already are. We have a game going called the Ponzi Scheme. It's not a real Ponzi scheme. It's just a cool name. But that's what we're doing now by email with our audience. I mean, are you thinking like we're a radio station? We're going to just say, hey, caller number 7? No, we don't do that. This is an email contest. So go sign up, you freeloader. Razor Z in Camden, New Jersey said, you never really grew up, did you? Oh, Razor, my man. You have a keen eye for the obvious. No, I never had to grow up, to be honest with you. You know, I didn't serve in the military like my brothers did. I mean, that makes a man out of you. And I never had kids that caused men to lose their sense of humor. No. I had one goal in life, to be honest with you, and that was to avoid working for a living. So I spent my life involved in the radio broadcasting business, and that leads to a life of perpetual adolescence. And I share it with you twice a week on Monday and Thursday here on the Rat's Ass Podcast. But no, never had to grow up. Jeremiah G., Richmond, Virginia. I just discovered your podcast and have listened to the last 9 episodes. And while I agree with 90% of what you talk about, I think you're dead wrong when you say we should not, or dead wrong that we should disrupt the call of prayer by the Muslims. Prayer is prayer, regardless of the religion, and should be respected. First of all, Jeremiah, glad you like the podcast, and you've listened to, 10? Maybe this will be 11? Just keep going back in the library. We got like 180 episodes or something like that. It'll keep you busy, keep you out of trouble. But listen, I appreciate the feedback. But on this one, we're going to have to agree to disagree. No other religion blocks traffic 5 times a day to pray. This is a sign of dominance and disrespect for Americans. Okay, they have openly claimed they want to eliminate the infidel. That's not a religion, man. That's an army disguised as a religion. Okay? Stephanie K., Lafayette, Louisiana. I find you to be a very I find you to be a very strange man with a warped sense of humor. And yet you seem to be stable and grounded. May I ask where you grew up and what your family dynamic was? I mean, what is this? 23andMe? My God. Stephanie, I grew up near Pittsburgh, and I was raised by a Democratic family grounded in the Baptist religion, so that should be enough for you right there. But I am the youngest of 6 kids. I was raised by a single mother and despised by my brothers and sisters because I escaped the belt of an abusive father. Okay? They were a lot older than me when I came along. Okay? She was already divorced. Just went out and got a little pickle tickle, and hey, here comes little Mojo 9 months later. But at the age of 13, to give you an idea about how my mother was, she told me, you're old enough now to make your own decisions. But if you end up in jail, I won't come and rescue you. That was my guidelines. Have you had enough? Or are you thirsty for more? All right, there you go. Brad B., Chino, California. I'm currently serving time at Chino for aggravated assault, and one of my cellmates keeps trying to have sex with One of my cellmates keeps trying to have sex with me, but I'm not into dudes. How can I politely tell him no without getting my ass beat? Okay, I'm almost ready to pull the middle leg here. I don't know if this is a true story or not, but Brad, you know what? I have no idea. Why don't you try jumping up on a table, angry as hell, and scream, I've killed once and I'll kill again. I've never tried that in a clink, but I've done it a couple times at the mall to avoid the wrath of white liberal women, so it might work for you there. Jake C., Honolulu, Hawaii. Fleabag, how many emails are we doing today? This is like, man, this is a lot. This is the last one, right? Okay, all right. Why is every hot girl I meet from California whacked in the head? I met this really cool blonde from L.A., and as soon as I said I'm a Trump fan, she literally tried to scratch me in the face with her fork. Oh, you serious? Yeah, it can get radical out there, man. But you know what? When it comes to hot girls from Cali, if you want a fork instead of getting forked, you got to learn to lie like a man. All right? Just learn to lie like a man. There's a benefit to it. All right. Something screwed up here. We wanted to move on. All right, where are we going to, Fleabag? We're going to the head trauma, right? Yeah.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
Tighten it up, brother. Tighten it up. All right, we threw out the burning question today. Let's review it. 63% of women say they would rather blank than date a man with a bald head and a beard. 63% of women say they would rather blank than date a bald man with a beard. All right, did you figure it out? If you said, go gay.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, they'd rather scissor than shave you. But you're right if you said that. If you missed it, go see your doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. I got to run. Today I'm trying out for Team USA to battle for the Spam Eating World Championship in Barcelona, Spain later this year. Hey, you get a free trip to Barcelona. Why not? Yeah, but first, is this real or is it riffraff? Ever wonder why fast food restaurants tend to use red, yellow, and orange in their logos? It's been proven these colors stimulate hunger. So when you're driving by Restaurant Row, you're looking at red, yellow, and orange, and you go, I wasn't hungry until I drove down this street, but now I am. Alexa, is this real or is it riffraff?
According to numerous studies and one in Germany, this is 100% correct.
Really? Okay, so let me ask you this. If men are wearing red, yellow, and orange, what happens?
You probably get the snot beat out of you by a gang of degenerates.
Oh, God. See, I was going for the thought that maybe women would want to eat us.
You probably get the snot beat out of you by a gang of degenerates.
Yeah, you said that.
You wish bubble butt.
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with having a bubble butt, Alexa?
Bubbles burst, that's all.
You see, sometimes Alexa makes no damn sense. All right, time to muzzle up. All right, welcome to Rat Nation. Tyler Addison, Rockland, Maine. Kelly Carter of Columbus, Ohio. Dex Montoya of Galveston, Texas. Randy Pike in Long Beach, California. And to listeners around the world in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Fleabag, is that the first time we've had a note from Vietnam? It is. You know, I thought so. You know, yeah.
Good morning, Vietnam.
There you go. My brother Raymond was in the Vietnam War, and he would share stories with me all the time, even though we didn't like each other. Every once in a while, he'd talk to me. But he'd say, when he was in the Ho Chi Minh City, that he would sit outside of a cafe and get approached.
Me so horny. You keep lying. Me love you long time. You Polly?
Oh, so sorry I missed it. I hear it's a beautiful country, though, so welcome to the show. Also, listeners in Cork, Ireland, and Stockholm, Sweden, thanks for being here and checking out the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
Yeah, we're a little long-winded today with those extra emails. All right, that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Go to ratsasspodcast.com to visit our hub and listen to previous episodes. Read the blog. It's loaded with lots of hot topicality. You can watch Rat's Ass Rock TV, get your rock on. Join the mischief at Rat Nation and connect with us on the socials. We'll do this again on Monday, April 13th. Monday the 13th. Take care of each other, and thanks for stopping by the Rat's Ass Podcast in association with the Oz Podcast Group.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.